DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
The beaver is a large and primarily nocturnal semi-aquatic rodent. Beavers are known for building dams, canals, and lodges. They're the second largest rodent in the world after the capybara, and their colonies create one or more dams to provide still, deep water to protect against predators and to float food and building materials. And of course, that has absolutely nothing to do with this tournament. However, it is the national animal of Canada. And my name is Trace Saranthus, and we are here at the DreamHack Open Montreal, where each and every time you tune in, you can learn just a little bit more. And with that, of course, to help educate you all is my esteemed crew of analytical dudes, would be Dust and Tommy.
You are like, you just know so much stuff. Like, where does it all come from?
I know everything. Between my pops and I, we know everything.
Okay.
Ask me a question.
I've taken a train once from New York to Montreal. I've done that once.
Yeah.
And you actually see quite a few beavers on the way.
Really?
Going by the lakes, and there's like those massive things they built.
The dams. Now the beaver, not to be confused with Chad Burchill. He does kind of have that sort of appearance and vibe to him. Shout out Chad Burchill, wherever you are in the world right now, London. So, Dust, what do you take on this upcoming matchup? Because we do have a little bit of heroic action here and I don't want to say slacking, but lacking Imperial.
Yeah, I mean, Heroic is usually in DreamHack Opens been able just to win both best of ones to make it to the playoffs. This is the first time they actually have to go through the lower bracket to try to make the playoffs, but they always seem to make playoffs despite all the roster turmoil and all the in-game leadership changes and such, and they looked really impressive actually recently at Stockholm and Valencia. And then you have Imperial, who basically nuked any type of leadership that they did have on the team. Made some drastic roster changes and looked really rough yesterday. So it's going to take a lot to kind of pick up people's hopes about them after what we witnessed in yesterday's game.
I'm pretty sure the real reason here that we've all gathered today is because we get to see a rarity. And that rarity are the 3 reasons why, brought to you by HacksGG and Lurpus. Because Lurpus, not known to have the best 3 reasons, but let's see what you got, bud.
Hold on. What?
Oh, you don't need this? Okay, my bad.
What? How am I not known for the best 3 reasons?
Well, then give us to him.
3 reasons why Heroic will bounce back today. Number 1, let's go. They have more routine to fall back on. I mean, this is a much more experienced team than their opponents. They got players like Freiberg and Nadi. They've been here multiple times before. Not maybe in the lower bracket like Dust has said, but, they're just more experienced. They know how to make things work. Number 2, these teams have similar map pools. This is something I talked to my brother, who's the coach of Heroic, this morning at breakfast, and he basically just said, this should be a very ideal matchup for them. They match up really well. They like to play the same maps, and they just feel very comfortable going into this. And finally, number 3, which is similar to number 1 to some extent, there's just more experience in elimination games on the Heroic side. They've been here before. They're not going to be nervous playing on the stage. They're not going to be worried about the fact that they might be 2 maps away from going home. They're going to feel pretty confident and comfortable going into that game, and I think they're going to take care of it and advance to the next round.
Yeah, where in which they will still have their backs against the wall. And those 3 reasons were brought to you by hacks.gg. Now, if you're in Twitch chat right now, I want to invite you to vote on Lurpus's contribution in his 3 reasons. I'm going to need a number 1 through 10. Just pop it in there. It's not going to be a big deal. You don't have to make a big scene. You don't have to spam. But if you do, I'm sure no one will stop you. Let's start to talk about something a little bit more important, though, and that's the map vetoes. This is a best of 3 today. These are elimination games. So perhaps where can we see this one going? And is there any win conditions here for Imperial?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's one weakness that they might be able to get, because I know Heroic have been historically pretty weak on Inferno and Cash, so I think one of those will be left on the table. And so that could be something that Imperial goes for to try to get a map here, whereas I know that a team like Imperial wants to stay away from Nuke for sure, but they have a slight weakness on Dust too, it seems like, as well, so I think that could be exploited. You could also just exploit the fact that Imperial has just made a massive roster change and probably isn't feeling comfortable really anywhere in the map pool. Both teams like to play Mirage. That's the key factor, and so I wonder if someone will actually pick it, just knowing that they're the better team team on Mirage, despite the fact both people are comfortable playing it, or if both teams just leave it for the third map. And that would be a good third map decider, I think.
And you know, if one team were to pick it, I think it's probably Heroic, just because they are the ones who are going to be, they're going to be the more confident team going into this. Let's see. So Cash vetoed by Heroic, like you said, not a map they want to play. Nuke taken out by Imperial.
If I'm Imperial, I pick Inferno here. I think that's your way in. If I'm Heroic, you can either pick Mirage out of confidence, knowing that you're just a better team, or like I said, Dust 2 could be an option. But actually, Imperial goes for the comfort on Mirage, and Heroic goes for Train, which I think they should do pretty well on.
Yeah, I mean, Heroic got to be fairly confident on these maps. Like, you know, so it sounds like my brother was right on that. They are the maps that he said they're most likely to play. And, you know, they just seem very comfortable heading into this over breakfast this morning.
I will say this, like with Heroic picking Train, this actually used to be Imperial's best offline map. So you have to wonder, though, if they still retain any of that, right? I mean, they were like 7-1 offline on Train, so they actually used it a lot against really good teams to get good deep runs. But
unfortunately, we saw them on Train yesterday, and, you know, that was a little disheartening, I think. Would be one way to put it.
Yes, indeed it would be. That would be a 16-3 topple of this Imperial squad. Looked like they were frustrated to no end yesterday as we watched them on the screen. And you can see them on your screen now as
by the angled Seahawks.
Yes, the angled Seahawks. Wait. Yes, AGO. Wait, what? Nookie seemingly having a hard time there with his camera. Not sure what exactly the play is with that. But either way, we could talk a little bit more about this Imperial lineup. And, I mean, their expectations coming into this event couldn't have been super high. I mean, this could be one of those teams that says, hey, we got nothing to lose. We'll come in here and do what we can. With
that being said, I think it varies depending on the players, right? So, like, Nuki played for Hellraisers in Stockholm last week, at least for the opening game, before Woxic got his visa sorted out for that event. I mean, these guys won DreamHack Summer in Jönköping, so they have a different roster, but they do have the experience. I think this guy probably has high expectations for their team, and, you know, he was the one player who had an okay showing in the first game, but just wasn't enough. That's all you can really say. Like, they all need to be better today. That's Nexa, who missed that one crucial kill in a round where they could have maybe started to build some momentum in the opening game. Esperanto's got to be better. Your star can't finish with 11 frags. I think Nuki's got to play better. I mean, just everybody across the board just needs to play better. And I think Haji's going to be one of those guys, going to be matched up against Mertz on the opping role here. And it's got to be better, like LeBron said. Got to be better.
I did it all for the Nuki. Is that
that's a good line.
Appropriate? Or?
Yeah, I just feel like it's hard to put your finger on this Imperial team now. Like, they impressed everyone at Copenhagen Games when Astillion was calling. They actually, like, upset North and Heroic, and it's like, okay, but then they got rid of them because they hit a rough patch. Then they get Crystal. They win DreamHack Summer. So you're like, okay, like, they keep having, like, these kind of dipping parts, but then they get to, like, a really high level. And then they nuke the roster again after DreamHack Summer after a failed Zotac run. And now they're with a team where they have Nexa in-game leading, who, you know, tried to do it for Renegades for a very short period, but then it didn't work out. Now he's being forced to do it again. And what I'm scared of is, one, you know, you don't have any obvious leadership on this team anymore, which means you're going to be, you know, really using your coach as a crutch, Neil. But then the other problem is that Nexa used to be one of their most consistent fraggers next to Esperanto, and so you have to wonder how much of a hit he's going to take being the in-game leader now, when I feel like they were so reliant upon him to be kind of that rock. Like, Esperanto's the flashy one that can make big plays, but Nexa was like the one that was quietly getting his kills every round to make sure your team was doing the right things to win rounds, and so I think that's going to be a huge issue.
On the other side of the stage, I think one of the players who had a rough game yesterday is on the far left. It was Freiberg, who you know may or may not have tweeted out about the computers yesterday. Seemed to be the only one having issues, as far as I could tell. Always a bad look when you put that out in the public domain. But he had a rough game yesterday. Could have been the difference maker. On the other hand, Mertz had the very flashy highlight. Probably going to be the best round of this entire tournament. I think it's hard to see that being topped. Unfortunately, still not enough. They had the unfortunate one key round that they lost, and I understand that that was one of the older people on the team who made that call. And, you know, that's the kind of...
Got any names you want to throw out there, Tommy, or is it kind of...
I mean, it becomes fairly obvious, I think, from how the conversation has gone.
Yeah, so you're saying it might start with an M and end with an Audi.
I mean, it's certainly possible. There's at least a 20% possibility.
Okay. Yeah, I see your numbers check out.
Yeah. But, you know, that's the kind of stuff that they just can't afford to do. You know, they can't afford to throw away rounds. Yes, they're favorites, but part of being favorites as, you know, the more experienced team is that you're supposed to be making fewer mistakes. You're supposed to not be giving away rounds, and you got to force the other team to actually win them. That's not something that Heroic managed to do yesterday, so that's that's the one way they got to be better. They just got to be more consistent in their decision making. And I think if they can manage to do that, this should be a 2-0 for them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When I was watching this team play at Stockholm, and Mirage is the first map we're going to see, as Sicilian with the in-game leadership now, he actually was calling some really cool tactics on Mirage. And I think that's something Imperial's not going to have going into this is that higher level of coordination or just having more plays in your playbook. Like, we saw some really cool utility stuff out of Heroic on Mirage at Stockholm. So I think that they're definitely going to win the strategy game. Like, I definitely think they're going to be deeper in that role, and so it's really going to come down to like whether or not Esperanto does just these crazy antics. I think like they're going to rely more on like this FPL-ish style of play to try to beat Heroic just on skill alone. But I think Heroic is definitely got a couple of heavy hitters on their team. Like we saw Esatag on screen a little bit earlier. He's actually stepped up huge since Nico departed the team. Like when he first came to Heroic, I wasn't impressed at all, but he's been quite good the last few events as like kind of a secondary entry rifler. And so we're going to be looking to him. He's on the screen right there up against Esperanto, the star from, you know, Imperial, who did not have a hot day at the office yesterday.
Yeah, we actually did just see a little bit of collusion behind the scenes there. I believe I saw Taz talking to your brother. Anything you want to talk about there, Tommy? Or?
Well, I mean, they've known each other for quite a while.
Oh, that's what it is.
Nothing that I know is going on.
Yeah,
you know, we have been playing together in the same tournament since like 2004.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, dude. Anyway, we do know the maps. We have Mirage, we have Train, we have Overpass. Of course, you have to battle through the first two to make it on to the next one. And if you're in Twitch chat, you can battle using these two spam things right here. Exclamation point Imp and exclamation point Hero.
Hero's winning.
Twitch chat would never spam. What do you mean?
Yeah, you're right. Never would they ever. Let's just get into some predictions, guys, because I think it's enough rambling from at least me. So let's start with you, Dust, and let's hear what you have to say on who's going to win this matchup.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to pick Heroic. I think that even though there might be some individually skilled players on Imperial that might leverage more skill than some of the Heroic guys, I think Heroic still has enough firepower. And again, I think they're going to be better strategically, so I'm going to have to take them to win it.
I saw nothing from Imperial yesterday that suggests to me that they're going to be able to win a best-of-3 series today. So I think Heroic wasn't great. I think they've shown higher potential previously, particularly in Stockholm against FaZe. I think they're just going to be the better team today and win 2-0.
I couldn't have said it any better myself, Lurpus, because Imperial looked like absolute garbage yesterday. I just want to say it. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was impressive watching that matchup. But that's okay, because they have today to validate themselves.
It's a new day, Trace.
Yes. It is. It is a brand new day and a brand new set of Twitch results. We can take a look at how the votes unfolded by you, the viewer at home, who have absolutely no problem spamming that lower third, except it doesn't work, so I'm told. So that's unfortunate.
Who do you think won? We could speculate.
And before we do this, is there anything that you guys would like to say about our commentators before we get them on the screen? Oh, never mind. This has all gone wrong.
Oh, look.
The live updates.
Ooh, look at this.
You like that? It's
alive.
It's not necessarily a neck-and-neck race here.
It's alive.
Heroic are the favorites, as we did speculate. But again, what would you guys say about these commentators as we go to throw?
They're a couple of fine gentlemen.
Okay.
I'll be nice.
Anything good or bad you want to say, Tommy? Anything's okay at this point.
Let's just go to them. Let's just see what they have to say.
Let's do this. Let's bring in Harry and Risk. Harry looking extra sprightly and extra red today. Guys, are you ready to kick off this second BO3, and what is your last of the day?
Yeah, I am. I'm very ready. Risk, how about you? I'm very red and ready.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Fits, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's a bit of tension over here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how Heroic are gonna do. As a Dane, I'm always afraid when they play because sometimes they can fall through. But I feel like it shouldn't be too much of a challenge with Imperial. They are not looking good.
Yeah. Well, we can go ahead and take this one from here then, Risk.
Yeah. We stole it now.
I'm very excited. The guys on the desk, they were saying, you know, I think Trace was the one who said we need to see a new Imperial, right? The ones that we saw yesterday, it just wasn't good enough. We need to see a new, a mint condition, a mint Imperial, if you will, perhaps.
All right. Okay, I get it.
Just like a... I mean, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, I know. Back in the Source days, there was the team called the London Mint, where Henry G played back in his days. It was one of my favorite teams. They had a really nice shirt. White and black and green were their colors back then.
Wow.
Interestingly enough,
all the
green
colors
is also
of the rainbow.
Yeah. If you're really colorblind. Funnily enough, green is also the color of hope and the color of Heroic, who are 152 on GGBet live odds. There we go. Shout out to those guys.
People are thinking that Heroic have got this one in the bag. I'm going to ask your thoughts now, Risk. How are you feeling?
2-0 for Heroic. That's how I'm feeling.
2-0 for Heroic.
It's a very, very happy feeling. But
I'm probably feeling thank you.
feeling thank you?
Yeah, Heroic. I think they're going to take this as well. I got a lot of respect for these guys. As much as I love Imperial and what they've done, I think, you know, they've had a bit of a turbulent time as of late. They didn't impress me yesterday, I'll be honest. I wanted to see a bit more from the rest of the gang. But, you know, I love being surprised. I would love for them to prove me wrong.
Yeah, and also the fact that this tournament is going on at the same time as the major. When the major is over, there's always going to be transfers. There's always going to be players shifting up teams. And, well, like, if I was a team owner or a manager of a team or maybe players in the team, we had 4 players, we needed a superstar. Look at Esperanto. Like, he's probably going to be the hottest prospect of this upcoming transfer season, I feel like.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, you can always tell as well, like in his tweets, he's always quite like, he seems very driven. You know, he's got that sort of like attitude where it's like he really wants to win and he's going to do whatever to do it. But you know, I'm looking forward to see what comes of him, what comes of this Imperial roster as well. If you want the honest truth, whether they stay together, whether they you know, decide to chop and change a few more players before they get fully settled. Then you look over at Heroic. These guys, turbulent history. You know, you kind of think they've always been like a feeder team to both North and Astralis. It's like, I mean, they're really quite low down on the food chain out in the world of Danish CS.
Yeah.
But they've kind of started to solidify themselves within this current roster.
Oh, for sure. It also helps getting a coach who's really with the team for a long time. Nasu, of course, Lurpus' brother, switching over from Reserve to Heroic, to that refresh structure, getting a Cillian in-game leader have a lot of respect for. And he's kind of like in that position where he can be the 3rd/4th best in-game leader in Denmark. You have Glaive, of course, without a doubt the best one. Then you have MSL and Carrigan with 2 different styles of vying for that 2nd, 3rd place. And then Cillian comes in after those guys. But he's still a very competent leader. And with enough firepower around him, now they got Mertz as well with the AWP. They might do it. Like, they can do anything. We saw that against FaZe in Stockholm.
Well, an important thing of being a good leader is money management, something that Cillian does not have. Let me tell you, this guy, the amount of times I've been, you know, eating dinner with him or something along those lines, I mean, it's only ever happened like once, but still, and he just doesn't pay, and then just leaves, and then it becomes my responsibility.
Oh, I had it the other way. I had it the other way around.
He paid me back. He's actually really good. But what, he paid for you?
I've only experienced a very generous
for dinner.
Yeah, just in general, just every single time I need something, he just arrives and like, oh, you want something? Yeah.
Like some sort of genie.
Yeah. Just have to say his name 3 times.
Is that how genies work?
No, that's another thing. That's like what?
Yeah, you got
Candyman or something.
You got to look in. You got to look at him in a mirror.
Yeah.
Set fire to an Astralis T-shirt and then say his name 3 times, and he'll be there. So there we. Please, no one try that.
Yeah, that would be a waste of an Astralis T-shirt.
They're a currency in Denmark, I hear.
Yeah, they're actually really nice shirts.
I actually own 2.
I own 1.
I know. I'm actually one up.
Oh, yeah. Wow, there we go.
Who's more
you
Danish?
one up the Dane on Danish stuff.
Anyway, look, Risk, we're about to get into this one. Heroic versus Imperial. Loser is going home. So there is a lot on the line. We're about to head into map number 1. It's, of course, the old familiar Mirage. And Heroic over on that T side.
And this is the chance for Imperial. They need to start off strong. They need to come out swinging. And then on the CT side, Esperanto can rack up 30 kills in 15 rounds on the CT side. We've seen it before. He's absolutely a beast on this map, especially on the defensive part of it. But the structure of Heroic, will that be enough to count him out, to take him down? That's the question.
Well, Nuki over in the window. Hasn't spotted anyone else just yet, and they've actually just slipped by and gone up through Connector, and that's him taken aback by Moddy's forward position. Falls probably going to not last very long down towards CT either, so man advantage gain for Heroic. Imperial, this is not the start they were hoping for. They needed to hit the ground running, and while they have hit the ground, it's largely because they don't have faces anymore.
Zach taking over the position, picking out one next step with another frag, so now 2v2. No kid on the CT side though, and Mertz's position is round winning, I think. I don't think they can lose it by now unless they make a big mistake.
Only time will tell. Haji at Nexa.
Kit picked up though.
Left up. Yeah, that kit's retrieved. Smoke going to go down on the bomb, and Haji's sticking it. Mertz missing his shots. That was Palace.
What?
No, not like this. Imperial going to get the defuse, and Heroic, they are going to be kicking themselves in a 2v2. The smoke defuse prevails for the side of Imperial.
I don't understand that. They should be absolutely sure of where the bomb is in that smoke. And Mertz's position is perfect for taking the diffuser out. even though there's a smoke on it often. Okay. Snap back to reality. Attack and Mertz both with hero AKs. Full buy up from the CT side, doing the atypical version of this anti-eco. Usually we see people saving full if you get the bomb and then buy 5 AKs next round. This round is going to be 2 hero AKs and 1 UMP on a Cillian and then pistols on the rest.
Modi. He spotted the head just then. Yeah, dealt with down here at short. Now all the pressure's onto Hachi. He's got so much to do. Players coming in from all sides, and he really can't go down straight away. He's going to do more than that. He's actually able to find 2 kills, and he's repelled this entire offensive so much time. And you can see Esperanto going to go barreling in. Does come to regret that decision, as now we're into a one-on-one. And Mertz holds his own, holds his nerve, and Heroic going to be stealing around straight back.
Shoulder clap coming from the coach there. Very important that Mertz gets going. He's also one of those players, because he is so young still, it all comes down to his confidence. If he starts out well, he's going to have a sick game. Right now he's 5-0, no deaths whatsoever and 1 assist. And Nasu knows that if he can keep pushing him, if he can keep him in that happy mood, in that happy place, then Mertz is going to be a big factor for them. And that's also a big part of like coaching that a lot of like CS players maybe have a hard time getting, that it's not just like being an analyst, it's not just like making sure that the strats are on point, it's also that, but it's also man management. It's also making sure that everyone is in the best position they can be mentally to deliver, because that's the only thing you can really affect as a coach. You can't really make S-Attack shoot more headshots, but you can put him in the mental position where he usually gets the most kills.
Italian Rescue just taken Counter-Strike to a 4th dimension. Breaking it down as the physical and the mental positioning of these players. And it's only 2 elements.
Just you wait until we hit the metaphysical ones and it'll all go crazy.
Yeah.
4 dimensions.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be great fun. But Heroic right now, they're not wasting any time. They're firmly in just 2 dimensions. They're heading in one direction right now, one direction only. They're going to get this bomb down. Mertz to plant it, and it's going to get planted for the apartments. He can now look to try and get up here. The only issue is right now, going to be Imperial hot on his heels, and he's not ready for that. That's Haji. Finding the frag, S-Tag and Modi. Modi's very far away, and only has a Mach 10. Bomb's not planted for short either, so maybe there's a bit of a miscommunication here. S-Tag has to try and stay alive, and he's going to fall at the first hurdle. They spot out Modi, and this round's over. Imperial going to be going blow for blow with Heroic here.
Yeah. Bit back and forth. Heroic, no strangers to this map with this exact lineup. They did defeat Fnatic 16-11 and had that overtime game against FaZe, so this is definitely a map they enjoy, but also a map that Imperial really enjoy playing. So this is potentially the map where you can see the 2 teams here being the closest in this series, and will also potentially set a kind of a marker for the rest of the series. Who's going to be the better one? Heroic, the favorites according to GG Bet. Let's see if that one sticks. Esperanto, he's always an X factor. Not going to find anything to begin with. Just going to smoke on connect and hold that control back. As we do have a full buy round. Every single dollar spent for Heroic. But 2 players on Deagles, the rest on AKs.
Well, there's a nice opener found by Modi. Not going to get too many more of them, you imagine, but he's given that one for free. And he does get running down in towards the B bomb site. Didn't spot anyone out on short as well, so might relay that across to the rest of the gang, although we can see there is a man there. Modi just backing away. Rejoining with the rest of the gang over here towards T-spawn and A-ramp. Looking like it's going to be a set piece in towards this A-bomb site with a little bit of utility they do have. That one smoke on Modi. Could throw that in towards CT. Could try and hold on to it. Looks like it's going to go out. And Cillian opening up with one more down in middle. This is looking like a good round for Heroic.
Making the win, but Nexus position here. Perfect timing with the push. Pound now on the back of CT. Picks up 1. And now the push has been stopped in its tracks. Flash coming in. They're trying to take over the site. Pound will get annihilated by the Desert Eagle, and Mertz coming in with one as well. Now it's all on next to the in-game leader to make this happen, but with 57 points of health and 3 players to find, he's probably going to end up saving.
Yeah, he does not fancy his odds here. For next up, this is the hasty retreat. Heroic going to be finding themselves a second. Now, trading these rounds back and forth, going to naturally, over time, kind of start to be more lenient towards the side of Heroic, I guess we'll say, especially as they keep 3 players alive here. They're all on AKs. It's going to start to slowly reduce the cost. It's cheaper to buy over on that T side as well. As long as they keep getting the bomb down, keep finding some success in these rounds, they should be all good, because then you look over at the side of Imperial, you see the money starting to go low. They might want to go for the force buy again, just keep trading till a team wins 2 in a row. That's normally how we see these pan out.
Nice little fade away by Modi. I'm talking about economy. Imperials is going to be in the dumpster if they lose this one. Full force from them. Scout on Nuke. FAMAS. And just a Deagle on Pound. Hachi as well with the FAMAS as mentioned. So this one's going to be rough. S-Attack is selected to go with the Max 10 for now. Will challenge against that M4 and he will lose that challenge, but giving a decent amount of damage, to be honest.
I'll tell you what, they might have lost out on S-Tag, but they found success over here inside of 8. That bomb's going to go down here for Heroic. Man advantage up in favor of Imperial, though. We'll be knocking on the door. The Danish-Swedish mix. Freiburg needs that nade now. He's going to keep an eye on stairs. Doesn't have anything to worry about down towards CT. That's courtesy of Asilian, keeping an eye on it right now, but it's this man up in Palace, Esperanto, that leads the charge in. Someone that's so often talked about, but Mertz is here to help out, trades things back. Him and Asilian getting the job done. 1v2, time ticking down, and Asilian just sitting back in CT, playing with his food, toying with Imperial, and they line up for him. Heroic gonna lock in a third as Asilian smites down Imperial at the very end.
Asilian just constantly placing himself in the good positions, because he's not a player who can go straight up and just win an aim duel like Mertz can, for example. But he knows how to position himself correctly according to how the round is going to play out. This one is perfect, even though I don't actually think they had time to come in for the defuse. It was definitely getting very close. But he was just playing it as if they had time. So he waits like 3 seconds to peek, 3.5, and then he peeks just in time to get the kill. Just perfect from him, forcing Imperial on the full eco. Desert Eagle is going to be the biggest investment, but no armor behind it, no utility behind it either. And as an answer to that, Heroic, of course, 3 Mac 10s.
Yeah, this is one that Heroic should be picking up almost entirely for free. Wouldn't surprise me, maybe sometime soon, if this first buy round for Imperial doesn't go well, we see a pause come out. They have some time to talk to their coach. Does have a very positive energy around him. That's how he got his nickname, Girthy Murphy. Mac 10 over here on S-Tag. Up on top of the cinder blocks, but he's not looking to build anything. Instead, he's looking to destroy Imperial as he hands down the hatches on this position.
Hachi, close range. Desert Eagle in hand, goes for the spray, but not going to hit it. Mertz with the Mac 10 is stronger. S-Attack will find another one, so plenty of money, but also plenty of damage. 10 and 44 HP respectively on those 2 players. Nuke finding one with the USP. Another ding comes in from the USP. This time it's Nexter. These 2 USPs are doing so much damage. Will finally be eliminated, and only 2 players surviving so far. A 1v2 for Pound, but doubt he's going to be able to do much. And he is, well, taken to Pound Town and completely wrecked.
Pound Town, yeah.
It was such an obvious one, you know.
There's no shame in that risk. I can see right now, Heroic going to be feeling it's a bittersweet victory once again, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not exactly
lose a lot of economy, but still gain the round. Of course, we do have the pause going on. That's why we haven't jumped back into the game. It's called by Heroic, and I can kind of feel them. That round cost them way more than it should have. They need to keep their focus up for this upcoming buy. They need to make sure that they can keep adding on rounds into this one. And Imperial on the other side, apart from a few individual actions, looking disjointed, not looking like the team that they could be, the team they have the potential to be, and they need to show that now as well. Muddy not upgrading. Even though he has 3,900 and he knows he's up against a full buy, he goes for the Mac 10. So chance play from him. If he just get 1-for-1 trade now, that's perfect. That's all he needs to do.
Marty is hoping to be the Mac Daddy of this team. Still down over here towards connector. Esperanto and Nikki here. Heroic biding their time. That smoke going to start to fade, and now these are in place. Nuki going to come to regret that. It's Monty's hand down low. Esperanto, though, he's here to go ahead and pick up the pieces, where his teammates might have let him down. There's Nexa chiming in with another before Freiburg's able to trade, and Hadji, and he was a hot prospect for a while within the French scene, is left in a 1v2.
Heroic are trading so efficiently. Whenever they go onto a bomb side, and yes, last time around it was only against pistols, but this time around it's the exact same. The second that Imperial find an opening, they go straight in there with the trade frac. They have constantly the good positions for the refrac. It's just so nice to see, like, it's typical Counter-Strike. Hadji now on a 1v2, this is going to be very hard for him to win. Molotov on the bomb, it's done. But the way that they just manage to position themselves as a unit, able to refrac constantly if they go behind, it's just, yeah, it's beautiful to see, really.
So, you know, you're Danish. We don't make it, you know, we don't try and hide that. You embrace it.
Gotta embrace the meme, you know.
Where do you rank Heroic in the Danish, you know, scene?
On the Danish top 10, Heroic are currently on that 3rd place.
So you'd say 3rd, okay.
Yeah. Over Optic, it all depends on how well Optic does in this major, because before this major they were definitely not looking good. Pound on the other side, looking very good. So it all depends on this tournament and the major. That's kind of like the two teams fighting for 3rd place after Astralis first and then North 2nd.
So usually we can write these sorts of rounds off, but not this one as it turns out. The Deegs are doing damage for Imperial. They've retrieved an AK, and Esperanto, the gift that keeps on giving, is finally going to get returned to sender as S-Tag and Modi answer back. In a blaze of glory, they've secured this A-bomb site. Modi even watching the flank, going to go to delete that man hunting them in the back line. It's Hadji. Oh my goodness, what was that from Hadji? That there, I mean, I often say the CZ is never like a very pretty gun to see the frags come in, but that was a beautiful shot from Hadji.
Let's see that again. First one, slightly standard, but that one bullet. Oh, 2 bullets, but still.
That is filthy, Hadji.
That is disgusting.
You can't do that to him. 3rd round here for Imperial, and that's going to be a confidence booster. Much needed one at that here for the Imperial boys on their map pick.
Yeah, that's a very important thing to bring up here. Freiburg fails to find the opener against Esperanto. This is the map choice of Imperial. The next one is Train, and I would always rank like a really strong tactical team over a very strong individual team on Train, because it takes so much teamwork, especially on the CT side. So Imperial, they need to win Mirage, in my opinion, to have a chance in this best of 3. Nice for them to get something back there. Hachi, the new man on the lineup, finds the 2K in the end. And in that scenario, opposite of the last couple of rounds, Heroic were really bad at trading in the end of the round. He was allowed so much space. And the refrags didn't come in.
Oh, they've been burned by him once, but surely they're not going to let that happen again. This time, Heroic. Wrapping around short. 3 players over here towards B. You can see Imperial, that 2-man stack down towards CT spawn. It's an interesting setup, but Heroic not going to be heading over here towards that A-bomb site. Instead, it looks like it will be B. 30 seconds left. All 4 players stacked up outside here. And now this push comes in. Plenty of utility to expend. Molotov's raiding in. They're still able to hide behind the vents. Actually forms a hasty retreat, but it's going to get caught now. It's Nexa and Nuki trying to hold their own, but they all falter. 2-on-2, and S-Tag beats Pern to the punchline. Man advantage up for Heroic, bomb down, and Esperanto, the star, the man that we so often paint in such a positive light. left to try and show his worth here, and S-Tag's going to delete him. Heroic saying hello to a 6th round now.
Yeah, 4 kills from S-Tag that round. Looking very nice, and we can also see him. We saw that before they got Mert in the team. He's a pretty handy AWP player as well. Showed it in that last frag.
I mean, here's the mental thing. Like, I don't even know if they need Mert. I'll be honest. I mean, I love Mert as a player. I was sad when he got removed from North, but I think S-Tag was doing such a stand-up job with the AWP. But even when you think about it, right, like originally when he was brought into the team, he was pretty terrible. And then he came back for the 2nd time, and the return, the redemption of S-Tag has just been fantastic.
I kind of feel like the current meta is that you have a main AWPer and then you have a secondary as well. Almost every single team on the top stage, apart from maybe North, do that. And then it's arguable if they're on the top stage anymore, if they don't make it through here. Nexa, always on top with the Steagle. But you have that first AWPer, that's definitely Mert, and then you have the secondary AWPer who's always capable of stepping up. And I feel like that's S-Attack in this scenario, and we're definitely going to see it on Train. So I think this setup for Heroic is actually perfect, because S-Attack can still come in with that AWP when needed, on CT sides mostly, and show that he has that potential as well. But with the AK, he's also very nice, and he knows how to set up his teammates. He knows the structure together with Modi. Has been friends with the Stillion as well for a long time, so I think he fits into the team, and then Mert can come in with the AWP and the firepower and the more like aggressive plays that sometimes you just need as a Counter-Strike team. You need someone to just go out there and be aggressive.
Wow. What's going to transpire here in the window room? Nothing right now. S-Tag. Oh. Esperanto been betrayed by his long limbs. That's him sold to the devil. S-Tag gonna go to pad those stats even more. Nexa trying to get away.
Just get the double, and Pound, not enough fire in that Deagle to keep them off the bomb site. The bomb will be planted behind the positions, so Pound couldn't really get the kill. They knew there were not a lot of time left, so had to go for the safe plant instead of the open one that's easier to hold. Nice choice there in the dying seconds of the round.
I got so pumped over the idea that, you know, they could have denied the bomb plant 7 seconds after. That would have been a massive blunder.
If they planted that open and Pound got the kill there, that would have been the round. But Heroic, no mistakes in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, right, if you kind of look at where they planted, it's pretty risky. You know, you're open to mid, you're open to short, jungle. There's a lot of places. A lot of people, when they think about, you know, one of the safest plants you can go for would be
the CT one,
yeah, the default CT kind of plant, or plant for Palace, right? So there were a lot of angles in which they could have decided to get that bomb down, and the round would have been very, very different. But regardless, Heroic in the lead right now.
7-3, looking very nice here on the map choice of Imperial. Imperial, who for now will be on, well, this kind of weird eco round where Haji has a weapon from the last round, and the rest of the team just on USPs and a single piece of 50. So not a big chance. Freiburg taking a bit of damage. Modi just going roaming in towards the B bomb site. Drops down, picks up Nexa. Flash comes in onto Pound, who will surely find him as well. And Modi has now cleaned that B bomb site. Esperanto with a chance now. Free frag to his left. Can't find the AWP and save it if he wants to do it. But if I know Esperanto right, he's going to go for the play. Tries to find Freiburg behind. Stillion will go down, and the shot missed. Now it's very hard for Esperanto, and Freiburg will shut him down in the end, so no weapon saved. 8-3 is going to be the scoreline.
Yeah, Heroic, they are not showing any mercy right now the way of Imperial. We need to see a resurgence from this team. It feels like already there's been, you know, they kind of started to fall a little bit flat.
Yeah, this is where Neil M, the coach, can come in and kind of talk to the guys, give them a few strategical pointers, and then just a buttload of motivation, because that's basically what they need right now. They need motivation and confidence, because they are what I would call an FPL team. Like, they're a mix of really, really strong individual players with a very loose leadership in Nexa. He's not a bad in-game leader, he's just not a very specific MSL kind of like, you go here, I have everything under control. He's more like, do what you want and I'll try to keep the bigger picture locked down. So they need confidence. They need that motivation. They need the belief in this aggressive push, for example. And this is the perfect way to do it. Nades coming in. Flashes go out. Can they keep this position, though? And he pushed away Esperanto 1 for 1. Nexa 2 for 1, though. And he's actually not even dead yet. It's a 2 for nothing. Pound with 1 as well. And this is exactly what they needed. Aggressive play and Nexa in the window. There we go, Harry. 4 players surviving.
There we go, indeed. That is what we need to see from Imperial. A little bit more of that on the back of the tactical pause. You can see Neil in the background, using his hands a lot to talk, getting very emotional. Nexa, this was the turning point of the round. They kind of abandoned Esperanto down there in mid. The smokes, the flashes start to rain in. You saw the man up on short. Don't remember who it was, but had to fall away off the angle. So Esperanto's left to his own devices, and that's where Nexa comes in with a massive 2K. Pound winning out his individual duel elsewhere. And now this buy for Heroic has been broken successfully. It's going to be an AWP, 2 rifles. Other than that, it's not picture perfect. They have a little bit of utility to work with. But is that going to be enough? Putting a lot of faith here in Asilian, Modi, and Mertz. I think he's gone aggressive over here towards the top of mid, and he has got players in connector and short to help him out. It's Esperanto keeping an eye on lower tunnels. He was burned by it in the previous round, but he's not going to let it happen again.
Yeah, Nuki has been kind of weird for me so far this tournament. Usually one of the players that's almost always impressive and looking very good, taking aggressive duels. His AWP is very strong as well. But throughout this tournament and this game, specifically this map, he hasn't been impressive. He's looking very flat, to be honest. And I'm not exactly sure why that is. Molotov's out towards short. Will force a slight peek for Nexa. No one to win the duel just yet. Flash is coming towards BNS Haji. M4 in hand.
This is his last stand, and oh, well, not really how he wanted to be remembered. Esperanto and Nexa, though, they racking up a bit of a body count between them. Next, they're going to get dealt with by Mert. Esperanto doesn't last long either. And Pound left alive. Pushing in slowly but surely. They're all around a Pound, and he's going to go down. It is just Nuki. Right now, a bit of decimation over on the side of Heroic. They, I don't know, it feels like wherever they go, they just win the opening fights, and then the round falls into place from there. They did a fantastic job of opening these up. I can't think of the last time we've really seen Imperial kick things off with a man advantage.
No, it's a tough world for them right now. They think they're back into the game. They win that one round, everyone gets really hyped, and it's back in the mud for them. It's going to be the force buy here now. Everyone's on 100 max dollars. Esperanto eating a grenade to begin with. And lots of money on the back of the opposition. S-Tag even winning that one against Nexa. It's getting harder and harder. Esperanto trying to answer back with the Desert Eagle, but there's enemies all over the place.
Yeah, he's going to get pressured. Too many bodies, too little time. Just Haji and Niki left. MP9 and a scout between the two of them. Could make the... okay.
There we go. Nuki I was looking for.
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet right now, but he's looking to put the nuke back in Nuki as he finds himself 2 quick kills. Drops the bomb as well. That's going to buy them precious time to work with. Falls in a pretty horrible spot as well, but he's falling. Leaves the pressure on Haji. I'm wondering if they know that he's here, though. Now they certainly do. Put into CT. That's S-Tag. Giving away a gun and giving away a rifle for Haji to try and use.
Oh, okay.
Sticks with the MP9. This time going to trade it out to the M4, but Cillian's gotten into position, gotten into an half point, keeping an eye on mid. That's double digits achieved now for Heroic, and they don't even look like they've had to break a sweat to get there.
Yeah, and if you look at the stats, right, Imperial, they've only lost 1 out of 7 games on this map with their new lineup. Mirage usually is a fortress for them. They had that 116 against Valiants, but they've been beating teams left, right, and center and very dominant as well in most of their games. But now Heroic, it seems like they have their number completely. Heroic not a bad team on Mirage either. Only played 2 games as mentioned before, Fnatic and FaZe overtime and a win against Fnatic. but looking very solid on it as well. Esperanto starting out finding the first one. Still in now. Making his way in slowly but surely. Nexus spots him. Free frag for him, and now 2v4. It's all turned around. Nukia coming in with the scout, and now Modi's all alone.
He's good for one, but he still has so much more left to do if Heroic want to go ahead and find an 11th. Now this bargain bin buy has been fantastic for Imperial thus far. It might, however, start to show its limitations a little bit more now as the timer ticks on down and that utility starts to fall away, but it doesn't matter. Next, they're going to land the shot, and that'll be Imperial finding themselves a 5th round, 5-10. At the end of the first half, Heroic still in the lead, but Imperial scavenging together around at the very end. At least now moving to the T side, you can look to use some of your high-flying, high-fragging players to try and open up some of these bomb sites. Yep. Maybe look to exploit some of the weaknesses from Heroic.
Definitely going to be exciting to see how, especially Nukia and also Esperanto can be used in this kind of regard. Get a flash out, flash Esperanto out into a bomb site and just see him wreak havoc. It's definitely a potential. Deep breaths in the Imperial camp and full focus. As we are about to go into the second half of this first map. Once again, the map choice of Imperial. Next map is going to be Train. That's going to be very hard for them, if not impossible, to take away from Heroic. This is their chance. And some happy people out in the crowd. Always nice to see. Coming out to enjoy some Counter-Strike. So Harry, who do you have? Second half, who's going to take it?
I think at this point you have to say Heroic. They've just looked so good. But I don't like to give, you know, like that's what I'm thinking. But at the same time, I don't want to let Imperial down. You know, I want to keep the hope and dream alive that Imperial can turn this around, because they can. Very talented bunch. Now they're onto that T side. They get to set the pace. But they need to make a statement off the back. Pissed around going the way of Heroic. That's going to spell a disaster for Imperial, and it couldn't get worse than that. The bomb's been dropped. Luckily enough, the trade comes in from Nuki. Mertz is just tearing them apart over here on short.
This attack will find one. Astillion, final frag of the round, and yes, he will. Lock it down, 11-5. Heroic there looking pretty dominant right now.
And this is where things get worrying if you're Imperial.
Yeah,
you know,
you can read the body language of Neil, right?
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy. Doesn't really know what to do with himself.
That was actually a perfect, like, 5-second window into Neil M's life. I like that.
Yeah, you just get a taste of it. You don't need any longer than that. 5 seconds is enough. But for Imperial now, as we were saying, like, this is where things get worrying. Heroic, in a situation where really they should be going 13-5 before we see Imperial find too much success. You know, at which point, a few rounds away from taking this first map.
Desert Eagles are magical, but will they be enough this time around? Boost onto short, doesn't find anything so far. They definitely know the position, and there we go. Nexa finding one. That's the first gone down. Astillion has to rotate back, has to hold 2 angles, and he does make it into the corner. Safe for now.
So this is dangerous. Freiburg's fallen, and Astillion could get caught by the timing here, and indeed he has, sneaking on in towards B. Hound has gotten very, very far ahead of where he's meant to be. They're not sure he's here. And it's this thorn in their side. The man fly in the ointment, as it were. He's going to pounce into action. Spots the first. Not quite the second, but done damage, and certainly diverted Astillion's attention away from the apartments. That's precious time, precious opportunities for Imperial to come barreling on in. And S-Tag desperately trying to answer back, but it's just not happening. Imperial, with a team ace, going to find themselves a 6th round.
And that's the danger of the Deagle, right? Like, it can just turn everything around. If you get Pound into position, he can take that first frag, kind of open up the bomb side, and then you can swarm it afterwards. 2 Deagles spamming at you, there's going to be a very hard duel to find, or duel to win. And now there's some more money on the side of Imperial, while Heroic, they're down to just a couple of pistols. And limited money, then this should be a double equal for them. Imperial will be allowed onto 8.
So this first map is by no means an open and shut case. Heroic were looking poised to end this swiftly. Imperial now kicking things up a gear though, looking to try and claw their way back into this. There's Nexter with the opener. Now he's up in connector, and only one man with armor in the form of S-Tag. He's going to be allowed to wreak havoc. Modi, oh no, he's not long for this world, is Modi.
Depends on how Nexter wants to play it. If he goes for the drop down, Modi is 100% dead. There we go.
Yeah. This heroic default that we tried to see them play with these pistols might need some modifications before they're ready to go toe-to-toe with Imperial once again. It was the anti-eco though, so weren't expecting a win from Heroic. That's going to manage one. Oh, and a second. Let's not throw any more the way of Mertz here.
There we go. Sure as can be, Pound. High fives all around on the Imperial side of things, and lots of communication, lots of words coming through from Neil M, the coach. As Heroic, very focused, very poised. Going into this next round. This is their full eco. And I like the way, we mentioned this in the game before, like a lot of players saving money so we know everyone is on full utility. We know that they can get that orb going on Mertz. So they're going to do the double eco as predicted. And this one should be no challenge for Imperial to pick up.
Yeah, this is just a free round for them, a chance to pad those stats, pad that cash. They need to keep it clean, and they are going to, all 5 players staying alive. That's good. That allows them to dodge the reset as well. And that's going to apply all the pressure onto Heroic. Being on this CT side now, buying gets more expensive. You become vulnerable to these resets. Getting stuck in a loop of buying, then losing a round, and having a save. And you know, very quickly, every round you lose is effectively worth 2, right? Because you're eco in the next. So right now, Imperial, they have themselves poised right where they need to be if they want to try and field this comeback. They just have to find success in this round now.
This is what it comes down to. Round number 20. Will kind of decide the momentum going forward in the next couple of ones. Mertz with the orb on B, and he has the pixel angle. Sees one, sees a second. Has to hold close, calls his teammates. Flash come in, and he finds the first frag, but instant reply from Haji. Rotations now coming in for Heroic.
Yeah, they got to get here quickly, though. 2 players over on short, both nullified by that smoke. S-Tag having a try and hold a dodgy angle over towards the kitchen. Esperanto, quick double. Maybe a bit of miscommunication there. Esperanto just going to lay waste to Heroic. This B bomb site is open for business. That bomb going to go down, and Modi left in a 1v3.
And that's why Esperanto is the X factor of this team. Like, he just comes in from the short flank, finds 3 frags immediately, and opens up the round. Modi, almost nothing he can do here. And decides to go for the save as well. This is going to be another eco for Heroic, so Imperial getting dangerously close here on their T side.
See, Modi to me always looks like he could be like a mafia boss.
Yeah. He is the nicest guy in the world, though.
Swedish house mafia, perhaps. But
he speaks fluent Danish as well.
I know, he's a man of many talents.
Yeah.
The language isn't fairly similar, right? Swedish.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it reads almost the same, but the pronunciation and the accents are totally off. Like, you wouldn't really, unless you really focus, you wouldn't really be able to fully understand what a Dane is saying to a Swede if you go that way around. If you are around like a lot, for example, like I talk a lot with the DreamHack staff. They all talk Swedish, so I can kind of get it.
Because the scary thing is then you throw in like Norway to the mix. It's like, oh, there's a 3rd country.
Yeah.
And we can kind of understand those guys too.
Yeah. You know that back in I think in the 1600s, Denmark and Sweden and Norway. I'm actually not sure if Norway was in it, but Denmark and Sweden definitely was actually joined in something called the Kalmar Union.
Wow.
So we were basically one country.
We're learning some history
during
this eco round. Now's the time to do it.
Exactly. This is the perfect
It's
time.
Educational, and we get to watch some fantastic CF.
I would love to see a Kalmar Union of Counter-Strike. That would be sick. Just imagine like the best.
This is basically it on the screen. Heroic.
Just two, 3 Danish players, 2 Swedish players.
You've just described Heroic.
Yeah.
That's it. Your vision. You've realized your dream, man.
To be honest, I feel like Modi's Danish at this point. So
he basically is. I mean, I've met him. He does have a lot of Danish quirks about him as a person as well. Oh, S-Tag. Despicably Danish right now as he domes Esperanto. Next they're going to answer back and into a 4-on-4, but Modi is here. And laying down the law with that M4. Stuck in the murder hole.
That was hilarious. Hopefully not going to decide much in the round here. That one knife stab.
Asilian would have just done that to be a cheeky boy.
King of the banana is taken out. Bomb has been planted. Oh, next and Nuke in unison. And Modi once again forced to save. Not going to have a chance here.
Yeah, Modi looking to try and hold on to this M4. Now, there are going to be... there's going to be a decent buy around it, rather. But the real kind of worry now for Heroic, it was looking so good, right? It was a 10-5 half.
Yeah.
It was 11-5 at one point in time. Now going to be 10-11 with Imperial hot on their heels, and that gap getting closer and closer to closing up between these two teams. Pressure's definitely on for Heroic and for Imperial. This has been fantastic. They've got so much money. As we said, they have Heroic right where they want them for this comeback. Because you look at the money now, you know, you've taken a couple of heavy ecos here and there. That round there, you had Modi with his save M4, but that was it. I mean, no one else investing. And even now, right, they go for a buy here. They've got no buy in the next. So this could be where Imperial take the lead.
Funny story. S-Attack is actually from a town called Tilst. So if you move the S, it's just Tilt. We used to joke around a lot back in the day when he wasn't on like the big teams and he would rage a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine S-Tag raging. He seems like a pretty level-headed guy.
Yeah.
To be from a town called Tilt.
Yeah, a good friend of mine lives there now.
Who?
In Tilt. My Danish commentator duo partner.
Ah, see, I thought you were going to like spill some, I don't know, like a sick meme. I don't know, like...
No, there's no sick meme, sadly.
That's always the worst when you prep for a...
Yeah. Like, if there's a possibility for a meme, go for it, but there was no possibility.
You know the famous saying, no I in team, but two me's in meme. And now, round 22, rifles across the board in the server. Double AWP's going to be bought out on a Heroic. S-Tag and Mertz picking those up as you might expect. 300 Hertz, Mertz lying in wait down towards CT. And S-Tag lying in wait over towards B.
And the setup for the A split for now. One player mid who can come with the late lurk through connector. That's Esperanto. Obviously, you want to have the star player in that position. And then the remaining four towards ramp and palace. Smokes and flashes being thrown by Haji, but Mertz doesn't care. The screen is too fast. And this AWP is even faster. That's the problem. Modi, though, in a good position here as well. Will lose out to Nexa. The aim and the AK is a bit better. Now it's on Daniel Mertz. But Esperanto coming in with the flank, and Mertz test alive. Doesn't find the next one. 2v3.
It's S-Tag and Asilian are left up. S-Tag donning that all. Asilian. Not able to find anything on this spray. And S-Tag holding the corner of that smoke. Just misses the timing on Pound getting across. This now leaves the brains of Heroic. 1v3. Starting to peek on in. That timer working against him. That's going to add that much more. Leaning against the young Dane, and that'll be him crumbling down. Imperial in 11th round, all tied up once again. This is remarkable from these guys. This was 11-5 at one point in time in favor of Heroic. Now we arrive at the point where we're all tied up, 11-11, and Heroic are going to be on an eco/partial buy into this coming round.
You can see Neil M is getting hyped, and he has good reason to do this. This was a very important round for the kind of momentum shift of the next couple of ones. They feel like they're invincible now, Imperial. They've gone so many rounds in a row and now forced the economy of Heroic so far down. The score's all tied up. Bet still in the favor of Imperial, or of Heroic, excuse me. It's getting closer. Hachi making it even closer. Yet, as Sicilian is taken out.
Fades in mid. Mertz going to manage one before Nexa from beyond the grave. Goes ahead and roasts. That's in the window. 2 kills with just a D. That's not something you can be too disappointed with if you are Heroic. S-Tag still has that AWP as well. It's important to keep an eye on that. And there we go. That's why. Going to find himself one Haji and Esperanto left alive. But these two, these are kind of two of the big names we speak about in this team. providing a lot of the firepower. If anyone can get it done, especially versus this sort of still cobbled together buy, they haven't been able to retrieve any of the weapons. Over on the side of Heroic, these two would be the two to do it.
Yes, attacker waiting with the AWP is definitely the bigger investment in this round for Heroic. Has to come up huge with at least one more kill. Rotating around, Modi pushing all the way down to A-ramp. This leaves the side open though. Are they going to count on that? The perfect timing for Imperial. As Modi comes back, they know it's an A plant. They're going to have a good flank in Modi and S attacks AWP as well. 3 flashbangs remaining for the T side, so that can buy them some time. But I feel like Modi's flank here can be round deciding. Hachi rotating away. He's playing short with the AWP. It's planted for him as well. They need to get both kills, Heroic. That's the first one.
Great shot.
Oh. What?
Yikes.
Okay, he just decides to go for the save then.
No, he's going to try and wrap on a short to watch the bomb, and he might get there in time.
There's no kid.
Work.
This is
Hachi,
perfect.
You got to peek a bit wider. No, Hachi's denied the bomb plant, and oh my goodness, there we go. The defuse is denied, and Hachi gets there with seconds to spare. He's fast on his feet and even quicker on the trigger. Haji locking in that round for Imperial. They're going to take the lead, and what a way to do it. I had no faith he was making that in time.
He knew that there was no kid. That's such a perfect read. He knows he has time for the long flank.
When you've got balls of steel, they must weigh him down, so I don't know how he got there so fast. Haji, what a monster.
Because usually when you want to go to that position, you just go down to connector and then up towards short, but that opens you up for an angle early on that right side when you got to cross. If you take the long way around, you have the perfect angle. There's no one who can see you until you go for the peak. But it takes such a long while. So if the opponent have a kit, that's not an option. But he knew, or at least he had a feeling that there was no kit.
I don't know if he knew. I mean, the second the defuse didn't come in when his teammate died, you know, like when he was still in the apartments, he knew then, right? You imagine. But at first,
I kind of feel like that's
knowing.
too risky of a play to make unless you have that information. Or at least, like, very sure that that's the case.
Regardless, here's the up-and-coming Olympics sprinter on our screens just then. 12-11, Imperial take the lead from what was an 11-5 deficit now.
Okay. Ooh, S-attack answering back. Nukia aggressive with the AWP. Gonna stop that push completely. Asilian comes in to help. Flashes rain in, but no push just yet. Mid-round call coming. The play, and Freiberg aggressively posted up. Good damage, 1 kill, and 93 onto Hachi. Mertz locking it down in mid and nade towards connected just to hold them away, and now Hachi and Pound, the 2 new guys in the team, to try and win this. And just as they got the lead, Harry, Heroic are going to bounce back. Unless a miracle happens.
Well, Hachi and Miracles, name a more iconic duo. Over here in the apartments, S-Tag can hold down the fort. Doesn't spot anyone just yet. Does have support as well down on the bench. .40 seconds left, so Imperial not shy on time. They can look to rotate out of the apartments. Ooh, they've tried to go for the double fake, as it were. Falling back. Oh, they haven't fooled S-Tag though. And that's going to be Haji toppled. Pound now left 1v4. This would be absolutely monumental. 20 seconds left on the clock. Still 2 players here inside of A, and Modi lying underneath the scaffolding there. I see no way that Pound could pull this off. It's through the smoke. Mert's going to find him.
Doesn't care. Ice cold.
Yeah, that felt like a round that was lost for a while. And, you know, you appreciate them trying to make something happen, trying to take down the money a little bit of Heroic, trying to keep them in dire straits.
Yeah,
ultimately, they're not meant to be.
S-attack, as we talked about in this secondary AWP, was on point this round. Getting the important frags, shutting things down when he has the chance, and now money's starting to grow on Heroic. Still plenty in the bank for Imperial, so no worries. Even if they lose, this is still have enough to buy this round and potentially the next one as well. So we have a lot of weapon rounds coming in now. But who will the momentum swing to? That's the question. The economy is not going to be a factor in these next couple of ones. But the confidence, the momentum. Mertz aggressively posted up in Palace. Trying to hold the angle. Flashes come towards ramp, but he's still holding. He's still waiting for that frag, and he finds it. CT position is Modi, and a secondary one in jungle. Mertz not getting out. finding another one. Now it's on the long flank. Now we can go out towards the bomb site.
Yeah, this becomes such a horrible situation to be in. I mean, even looking at that map, you can see just the trifecta that's set up around this bomb site right now. 3 players, all different angles.
And they have no utility to block off Mertz's position, so they have
have no utility to block off any position
Yeah, exactly.
right now.
They have to hold every single angle before they can get that bomb down.
But this is where the round just is going to grind to a halt for Imperial. They have to hold all these angles, and the fear is the second they take their attention away from it, the peak will come in, and there we go. That's their fear realized. Mertz instantly trading. He is playing this position absolutely perfectly.
He's having a sick game, 27-18.
He's going to hear that bomb going down. Rotation's only just now coming in, and they didn't even commit to it. They've only tapped it, and as that timer ticks down lower and lower, their chances of winning this round diminish with it. And they line up for Modi. He finds them both. Heroic now back in the lead, 13-12, and on the back of that man on your screen right there, Mertz. Fantastic play up and towards the palace. He's earned the throne that he worked so hard to capture.
Very clever play as well. Just hold the angle. You know that they're pushing ramp. There's nothing you can do if you rotate out there, so just keep holding the angle. And then afterwards, he doesn't go back either. He just goes more aggressively because he knows that someone might push him. Holds that as well, and just perfect play by Mertz. S-attack, ready with the secondary as well. Grabs the first one, not the second, but Modi's there. Straight down, Esperanto and Haji both coming in with one, but Mertz uncharacteristically missing there. So 3v3, bomb probably going to go down here. Asilian versus Esperanto, the 2 former teammates. It's going to be the in-game leader who wins out, thanks to the great flash from his teammate. And now Pound all alone finds the first one, goes for the second through the box, gets the third as well. Pound triples up and shuts up Heroic.
Give that man a pat on the back, as single-handedly he's going to load the rest of the team up on his back and carry them across this finish line if he has to. Let me tell you, yesterday he did not have the performance of a lifetime. I believe this is his first LAN event, if I'm not mistaken, or something along those lines. So,
international LAN event.
Yeah, he did not have a good showing yesterday, but right now he's found his footing. He's found some stable ground to stand upon, and he's wrecking heads left and right, building up that confidence, getting more and more familiar with what it means to be up on this stage. Imperial calling in a tactical pause. Interesting decision. It does come down to the wire, so... I mean, I guess, you know, down the stretch now it's going to be, they're going to look to try and get up some of these cheese rounds, if you will. You know, you just throw in some dumb strat that maybe you would never normally do.
Let's see. What's the plan for Heroic? They're going to fire down here, double up setup. Only MP9 on Freiburg, only FAMAS on Modi, and limited utility on the CT side. Well, the T's will have everything in their arsenal. 13-13, and money has diminished for 3 of the Imperial players and all 5 on the Heroic side, so this could very well be the key round. Esperanto opening up on Mertz. I was absolutely sure he had that one on lockdown, but apparently he misses, and Esperanto punishes him. Another opener for SP.
And I mean, these guys are getting scary now. They're getting warmed up, and look at them go. It's a trail of destruction and chaos everywhere Esperanto walks. And now just Modi and S-Tag left alive. Esperanto going to be feeling fantastic about this round single-handedly. Yeah, it might not be an ace, but he's still the one to pick up this 14th round for them.
And that's what he brings to the server. Like, sometimes he'll just throw out rounds like this, and where you're like, okay, how is this happening? How is he hitting every single kill?
That's the other thing about Heroic. I just think this is like the perfect way to tilt them. I think as a team, Heroic are better, but individually, Imperial have so much skill, right? So we keep seeing these rounds where like one man beats like an amazing team, but then that's so tilting, right? When you're in a 3v1 and you kind of continuously keep losing them to just this insane guy in the server, you know, that's going to get to you. Yeah. And it certainly seems like a lot of that momentum has started to be sapped out from Heroic now.
Yeah, full eco now. That means Imperial will get on 15. Heroic are going to be playing for OT on the map choice of their opponents. Push towards mid. All these utilities just blocking them back. There's no chance. Pound is just jumping in. See if he can find something. And they're just playing this one very cleverly. They're not pushing it too aggressively. They're just trying to find the duels. Individual 1v1s against nothing but a USP. Definitely want to take that every day of the week. Haji. Not sure if he saw the bench play, now he will. Freiburg gone down. Now it's all on Muddy as attack and Mertz, but with this limited weaponry, there's nothing they can do here. It's going to be 15 for Imperial.
What a comeback it's been as well from Imperial. What a heartbreaking story it's been for Heroic. This was 11-5 at one point in time. Now the scoreline 15-13, with Imperial being the team to reach map point here on Mirage.
It's nice to start off strong, but it's even more important to finish strong. That's exactly what Imperial has done so far. High hopes in the yellow, black camp. While in the green-black one, everyone's looking slightly flat. Not exactly sure of what to do.
I mean, those are some very muted facial expressions.
Yeah,
While they know that this is not something they should be throwing away. I think they're coming into this, if you're Heroic, you should be already expecting a pretty comfortable win. You know, then to throw away a lead that big is just devastating. That's going to be in their heads now at this point in time. You look at this buy, and it's not good enough from Heroic. They're very limited in terms of utility. You're going to be relying on these big individual performances, something that we haven't really seen anyone have on this CT side in some time.
Interestingly enough, Muddy's gone for the ult, but look at this. In middle, S-Attack finds a free frag. Goes for a secondary, does so much damage. Astillion can finish Pound off. There's the second one in mid. They're pushing him now. Top mid. Taking the door, but he's finding a nuke here with a P250. 2v2, Harry. Make that 1v2. It's all going to be on Mertz.
Yeah, it is. It is all on Mertz, a man who, his name has been up for discussion a lot lately. Ever since, you know, he was removed from North, questions about whether or not he'd be able to get the job done. Now coming into Heroic.
He's definitely getting the job done.
Well,
He's doing his part.
He's in a 1v2, 29 kills. He has to go ahead and reach 31 if he wants to keep Heroic in this and keep buying for overtime. Mertz, the man from up north, has to go ahead and keep his cool here in the clutch.
He has the flashbang. Haji has the Molotov as well, so he might just go on and play the more safe route. Sees Haji. Now there's a possibility. Molotov on the bomb. If he goes for the frag, I think there's still time. No, there's no time. He's not going to be able to make it. There's no time. This one is done.
Yeah, Haji just toying with him in the afterplant. He's going to tap on the bomb, misses the shot, not even able to get that. As a bit of compensation, that'll be the map rather going the way of Imperial. They managed to close it out 16-13 from a 5-11 deficit to a victory here in map 1. What a turnaround from them, and sad faces across the board for Heroic.
Yeah,
they probably expected better from that.
Yeah, they felt like they could have taken Mirage then and then gone easily 2-0, but now it's going to have to be a battle. I'm sure they're going to take Train Heroic, but what a performance from Imperial, and what a way to turn it around. This really sets another scenario up for this best of 3 that could go all the way now. Now I think the third map is very possible.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this, I kind of figured it would be a 2-0, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like, Heroic have looked very, very good as of late. They made a few switches, you know, bringing in Mertz. I thought that was going to be a great addition. Imperial, they impressed. I mean, mainly on like that individual basis. We saw so many good rounds, most notably, I think, from Pound Haji and also Esperanto. They were fantastic. So I, for one, cannot wait to see how the rest of this best of 3 progresses now.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be back with the rest of this best of 3. Train is up next. See you then.